Hi, I'm Allison Pigeon. I'm a business consultant with Practice of the Practice. I'm also a group practice owner, and I run a virtual assistant company called Move Forward Virtual Assistants. And I'm doing this 5-part series all about virtual assistants and various aspects. And today we're going to be talking all about hiring. So whether you want to hire a VA from a company, or you want to go on Upwork and try to find someone, or maybe you want to hire someone local to you, these are all just things to keep in mind when you're looking at hiring your own virtual assistant for your practice. So I would say the first thing that you want to do is sit down and document all the tasks that you do in your business on a regular basis. So even if it's something that only takes 5 minutes, maybe you find something real quick when you're scrolling through Facebook and you post it on your Facebook business page, or you stop on the way to the office to pick up a couple supplies. Even if you think it's not a big deal, still write it down. Because when people actually write down all the things that they do in their practice, they're usually shocked at the vast number of things that they're doing. Because even a 5-minute tasks can, start to add up if you have 30 of them. So definitely look through the list once you have it completed and star the ones that you think could be completed by somebody else, because that's going to help you to start to see what you can delegate to somebody else. And then the next step is you're going to start documenting some of the processes that you do in your practice so that you can eventually start training the virtual assistant. So you can either do this by video, you can make a Google Doc, however you want to kind of, write out the steps or record a video of the steps of things that you do. You probably know how to do all of those things, obviously because you've been doing them, but you've just never documented them. So the more you have documented, the better, because it's just going to help when it comes to training your VA, which we'll talk about in another video. So something else that you're gonna do before you hire is think about what type of services that you would like. So there's lots of different levels of service in terms of having a virtual assistant. Like, you could get an answering service. So an answering service is someone who will just answer your phone and take a message and then pass it along to you. Do you want a VA who just sort of checks your messages throughout the day, who doesn't necessarily live answer your phone calls? Or do you want somebody who actually is going to be sitting by the phone and able to answer your phone as much as possible when calls come through or emails come through? So there's just sort of different levels of service, and depending on where your business is, you might want to choose a certain level of service now that maybe as your business grows, you might need to change it, but just a good, kind of food for thought to think through what type of service do you want. So once you figure out, what type of VA that you want, do you want to hire from a company? Do you want to go on to a site like Upwork, a freelancer site to try to find somebody? Do you want to try to find someone local to you? Obviously, you're going to then do an interview. And one important thing that we've learned about the interview process is to be really clear about what your expectations are, and then also compare that to their experience level. So in the virtual assistant company, we find that virtual assistants that we hire who have had experiences working in healthcare, specifically outpatient type settings, tend to do really well, and they don't need as much training as other types of employees when we do hire them. So that would be something I would recommend you look for. Find somebody who has some healthcare outpatient experience. If they have mental health outpatient experience, all the better, but usually if they have some healthcare outpatient experience, that is sufficient for them to catch on pretty quickly. So those are just a few tips about hiring, and definitely check out the other videos about the virtual assistants.